Okay. I'd like to call the regular council meeting of April 25th to order. We are honored to gather on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation, and I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. Thank you for attending. Next, we have approval of the agenda. We have a late item, 5.4.
Move approval with late item 5.4.
Second.
All in favor? Carried. Next, adoption of the minutes.
Move adoption.
Second.
All in favor? Carried. Next is delegation, and unfortunately, the presenter from Manulife Investment Management, harvesting update, he is unable to attend, so we will reschedule him for another time. Next, unfinished business. Nothing. And reports. That council received the development permit proposal for Lot 6, 2799 Beck Avenue report.
Move received. Second.
All in favor? Carried.
Oh, there's no button. Okay, this is new. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the purpose of this report is to seek council approval of a development permit to allow for the construction of 2 industrial buildings and caretaker suite on proposed Lot 6, also known as 2799 Beck Avenue. The applicant is proposing to construct 2 6-unit buildings for industrial warehousing. The property is currently under active subdivision, and issuance of any development permit or related building permits will be held in abeyance until the subdivision is completed. The proposed development complies with current zoning, and the applicant has cited the building to be compliant with the required setbacks for an I2 zone lot. The proposed development is the second to be developed as part of the Bevan Industrial Lands, which has been identified as a strategic priority. Pursuant to the official community plan, the proposed development is subject to 2 development permit areas, DPA 1, environmental protection, and DPA number 5, industrial. For DPA 1, I just want to note that connectivity is being addressed largely through the current subdivision process. So on the north side of proposed lots 1 through 3, a 3-meter wide bioswale will provide a connectivity corridor for wildlife. Fencing of these lots will be required to be on the inside of the bioswale to minimize fragmentation of the corridor. And proposed lot 6 does not have any fencing proposed as part of their plan. The application complies with all guidelines of the DPA 6 or DPA 1, environmental protection, and DPA 5 industrial. Staff recommend approval.
Any questions of members of council? Councilor Kettler?
Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to hear about the bioswales and the infiltration galleries. I think it's important to be putting that water back into the aquifer, which is good. I did have a question around the fire flows. It sounded like there wasn't enough water for fire flows. So are they going to be getting water from municipal water and then adding to it with their own well, or how is that going to work out for fire flows?
That I'd have to look into. I believe it's just through the municipal connection.
Yeah, is there, I don't recall this issue. Is there something that,
Yeah, it
you read this?
Where was it? It said specifically about the fire flows, the volume, that it wasn't, that they needed additional volume, that they didn't have enough capacity. But I don't know what page it is.
it's on
I think it was in the
28.
McElhaney report.
It's in the site servicing report, I
Yeah.
believe. That
Yeah.
section. Yeah.
Yeah, site servicing report. Did you know what page number it is?
Yeah, it's on page 28. So it says development water service sizing in this report is preliminary and is to be confirmed during detailed design stage in coordination with the mechanical engineer.
So that, oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
It'll be confirmed at building permit. So an engineer will be doing the drawings for that, and then it'll go through the building officials as well. And we can just make note to confirm.
Okay. But as far as we know, they're planning to get it all from municipal water?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I know there had been talk originally when it was just on wells
Yeah.
about the fire flow,
Yeah.
but then I think with the municipal line, that's been sorted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
Next, Councillor Brown?
I don't, my only question was storm events, and I was just trying to find the place where they talk about it, whether it's 25-year or 100-year or whatever they planned around.
I know they looked at 1 in 100 plus the 15%. That was the max that they looked at.
Okay.
They don't build out to the 1 in 100, but it is part of their calculations.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that's all I had.
Councillor Sullivan?
Yeah, the 100-year event, I was reading that throughout and was happy to see that. I'm just happy to see them ticking the boxes of the concept plan. And after working so hard on all this stuff, just building the stuff that we want to see out there is really satisfying to see. So good stuff, thanks.
Councillor Sproul?
Yes, very happy to see the way things are progressing. And I'm always really happy to see how much industrial lands we have within our village. It's quite surprising. So bringing us future employment and doing it in a sustainable way. There's nothing that I object to there.
Okay. No other questions? I just have one, not a question, just a comment to say thank you very much to staff and the development for presenting an amazing report. Not many questions, and that's a positive. Thank you very much for all the work and time you put into this. So what is your pleasure?
I'll move that council approve the application for a development permit for 2022-02 DP for the property described as proposed Lot 6, 2799 Beck Avenue, Lot A, Section 34, Township 10, Comox District Plan EPP 93477.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Next, we have that council receive the temporary use permit renewal 3276 3rd Street report.
Move receipt.
Second.
All in favor? Carried.
All right. So the purpose of this report is to seek council decision on an application for renewal of a TUP, or temporary use permit, for cannabis retail at 3276 3rd Street for a period of 3 years. On November 26, 2018, Council chose True Green Solutions as one of the successful proponents to be given the opportunity for a TUP for retail sales of cannabis and cannabis-related projects here within the village. True Green has been operating at 3276 for 3 years now. As per the Local Government Act, a person who has had a TUP issued may apply to have the permit renewed for an additional 3 years one time. The applicant has met all requirements of the TUP, the Heritage Alteration Permit, and the business license. Additionally, there have been no bylaw complaints regarding the TUP for cannabis retail in the last 3 years. So to date, the applicant has acknowledged an ongoing commitment to maintaining the requirements of the TUP. They have reported that hiring locally and paying living wages has resulted in better employment engagement, operational performance, and lower related administrative costs for the business. Similarly, the applicant has also engaged and utilized local companies to provide web design, brand development, and marketing services, which has created additional economic benefit to the community. Staff recommend approval on the TUP renewal.
Questions from members of council, starting with Councillor Sullivan?
Yes, thanks. We talked about it, I think, when we were going through this process at first, about this 3 years later, and then about 3 years after this. So being that it's such a successful partner in the community, what's the future for after this 3 years ends?
Yeah, so we have talked to the applicant about rezoning, but I believe in order for them to maintain their license or with the province, they need to have an active business license, and to have the active business license, they need to have either a TUP or rezoning, but rezoning can take up to a year, and so just to ensure the continuity of his business, he thought it was safest, and we discussed this about doing a TUP extension and then having that time to actually look at a spot rezoning. And also the OCP review is coming up, and that also could be looked at that time as well. So,
Excellent, thank you very much.
Councillor Sproul?
It all looks good here, so I hope we have a way to make this continue.
Okay. Councillor Brown?
I just was wondering about so he has that other development around, and this is not impacting that work at all.
No, this is just
it's
for the
separate.
TUP, just for cannabis retail. Yeah.
Okay. And so when he rezones, anyway, we can deal with that later.
Yeah, it has a separate civic address, so it would just apply to the
Oh.
one business, like the True Green business itself.
Okay.
I believe we could
because
look into it with more
faces
detail.
Third or whatever, and
Yeah.
faces the other street. Okay.
Sorry, I'll just say, because I know for their permit, it only applies to those 4 walls for
Yeah.
cannabis, through the province, and they had to provide the floor plan and security plan and everything, so yeah,
Okay.
just that one spot.
Thank you.
Councillor Kettler?
Yeah, just to say that I think it was good that we went with temporary use permit. We didn't know how it would roll out at the time, but I think it did encourage the business to be a good partner, as Councillor Sullivan said, with the community, and so having that sort of trial period gives us more confidence when there is an application for rezoning. So that's great. Thanks.
I agree with you. We were in the unknown territory when this all started, but it's so nice to see that there hasn't been any complaints or concerns regarding this business. So, yes. So, council's pleasure.
The council approved the temporary use permit renewal for the property described as Lot 12, Block 10, District Lot 21, Nelson District Plan 555A, 3276 3rd Street for the purposes of operating a cannabis retail business.
Second.
All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Next, recommend that council receive the solid waste collection Recollect app report.
Move receipt.
Second.
All in favor? Carried.
Pondering. Good evening again, and I'll just quickly go through my report. There's a lot of detail here. Staff is seeking support from council for the Recollect app, which I think will help administer the solid waste collection function that we provide the community. City of Courtenay uses this app now. The regional district is looking to move forward with the app. We were actually looking to partner with the regional district and the town of Comox. The town of Comox pulled out at the last minute. But we still have an opportunity to partner with the CVRD on rolling out this app. It'll be a multi-community app, so we'll have the ability to message strictly within our own community, collect data, generate reports, separate from the service they provide to the Royston area in the regional district. So we get funding now from Recycle BC, and we have some solid waste collection reserve funding as well. We can contribute towards this to make this happen. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. There's other things I mentioned in the report as far as we can use it for other sorts of reporting other than solid waste collection. So if we want to get some messaging out to the community, it's also a good communication tool. But I think the big one right now is just trying to help people with solid waste collection and the add-a-day calendar and such. So.
Okay. Councillor Sproul, you have questions?
Well, all I can say is thank you, and I hope you get it, because since I got back after Christmas, I can't figure out the schedule, and you need a ruler to, you need a lot of tools. But then the question I have, though, what about people who are not so familiar? This demands a computer or a cell phone?
It does, and it's one of many tools that we'll be able to provide the community. We can still send out printed notices if we want. We can do that through this app as well, but it's just another tool, and I think a lot of people will take the opportunity to load the app in their phone and have a notification, hey, it's garbage day, I better put my garbage out, or hey, they've missed some garbage, I'll put it out again tomorrow, kind of thing. So.
Okay. Councillor Brown?
Yeah, so that was my question. Could we use the app for other communication as well? And is it like a text message that comes, like the CVRD's emergency app or whatever it's called?
I don't know all the ins and outs of the app itself. I've got Courtney's downloaded it it'll send out notifications, so your phone will buzz or ring or whatever, and it'll say, hey, you know, whatever the notice is. But I don't know exactly what it
Yeah.
looks like, and I don't think it's a text. It's part of the app itself. So,
Okay.
but maybe there is a link through the app to send an actual text message as well. I don't know all the details, but
Okay. And then is this an annual?
it would be.
Yeah. Okay.
Councillor Kettler?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it'll clear up a lot of the confusion that we have been experiencing around scheduling of garbage pickup and recycling and all those fun things. So yes, I support it. Thanks.
Councillor Sullivan?
Thank you. Yeah, I certainly support this. I used the paper schedule that was sent out, and I find it to be extremely precise. You can also look online, but anything to help this confusing situation we have is going to help all the community members. And like the more app people, more talk about, oh, it's Wednesday, you know, just the critical mass will get to the point. If we have more ways for everyone to figure it out, then obviously that would be a lot better for us. So, and I've noticed that the uptake to the changes are still very slow. On this week or last week, going out on Monday when it was Wednesday, there's a lot of people out on Monday still. So look at your schedules or come to the village for a schedule, paper
Or check
schedule.
out the website.
Or check out the website, and we will be providing an app at some point coming up, hopefully.
Thank you. And I'm really looking forward to the day where we're all on the same, doing the same things, especially with garbage pickup, getting it done without any problems.
We're all looking forward to that, David.
Just thanks to staff, Rob, for trying to solve a problem that is not necessarily the village's situation. So
Yes.
appreciate that very much. Thanks.
Okay, what is your pleasure, Council?
The council support the purchase of the Recollect app to help assist the community with solid waste collection, notifications, scheduling, and education.
Second.
All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Next, we have that council receive this, oh, sorry, just did that one. Next.
Oh no, 4.5.
Yeah, 5.4. That council receive the Cumberland 125th Community Celebration Grant application for information.
Move receipt.
Receipt or second.
All in favor? Carried. Caitlin.
Thank you, Your Worship. Also, council, apologies. It seems like I'm always a latecomer when it comes to grant reports. It's just 2 meetings in a row. So I trust your patience with this. But this is, you know, as I often get to do, I get to bring some fun and exciting things to the table. And this grant, as you know, you've talked through in council, are looking to throw our 125th birthday celebration of incorporation next year in 2023. This is an opportunity to apply into the building communities through Arts and Heritage Grant for up to $2,000 for 100% coverage of the things that are going to be going on. So in your report, I've got some recommendations or requests on behalf of council to receive this information to approve in a submission to this grant program. And to ask staff to come back with the resourcing required, especially with work plans and budget, should there be any additional efforts required on behalf of the village. You've got a little bit of a rundown there on the grant program. It focuses on things that Cumberland's very good at, arts, heritage, events, and volunteerism. As I've been writing this grant, it's nice to often have answers that you know and that we meet these requirements well. So I've given you a bit of a breakdown of what's in the report or in the grant application. We're still working through the budget pieces of it. I'd acknowledge that the submission deadline for this grant is April 30th. And so beyond this meetings, if there's other questions that staff would like to have of me, I'm welcome to make the time to walk you through the application, but everything that's pertinent is in this report in front of you. You can see that early on the committee that council was a part of, we've been able to enact the generosity and efforts of our really important community organizations and partners. And you can see there's 8 of them there that are key community partners, from the Forest Society, the School Society, to UROC, to our volunteer fire department, each contributing to a significant piece of this event. And with that comes opportunities for them as also to rely on their group of volunteers. And so You know, the estimate for this is not in your report there, but the estimate so far is that we're going to see over 120 plus volunteers for this event, contributing anywhere from 10 to 15 hours apiece. Some of them will be longer, some of them will be shorter, but it's going to be a significant piece of what this event is about, and it's really going to bring our community together.
Could you get 125 volunteers?
You know what? Challenge accepted.
For sure we will.
I won't go through the different individual events, but they've been pretty well established. Each group gave us sort of a breakdown of the activities that they'll perform, and they've given us a budget. And I've gone back and kind of reaffirmed the number of volunteers that they'll see. The grant application itself wants us to be very specific in the accounting of volunteers, both from artists, artisans, and heritage professionals. And so right now, we've got a significant number of all those things that we're contributing to this project. So aside from all the different groups, we also have 5 roles within here of paid roles contract, which is approved and allowed under this program to help us implement this project. So an event producer to oversee the whole thing and manage the logistics of this. Another one, a coordinator that'll work with the village specifically, especially with our public works and making sure things like waste removal and stuff are on top, and then we have the proper volunteers in place. A musical director, a visual arts director, all those great people that are going to help us coordinate and organize that volunteer group to make sure that people are on stage at the right time, the right acts are at the right place at the right time, that the events that are collaborating together work together. So that'll be a big support, and then of course they'll be supported by volunteers as well. So there's 5 art positions, that's $58,000 for the entire grant, going towards those positions to help us implement and staff implement this project. There's, out of those community groups and the things that they're hosting, it's going to be, right now, the budgets they've given us is around $70,000. And then, of course, there's some infrastructure needs, some stages and other things that we're going to set up, which we have budgets for, plus as well as money set aside to secure all the performers. And there's quite an extensive list of performers of local bands, which some of us are part of, that are going to contribute to this event, which is great. So all in all, you can see the grant application at this point is $164,000. The only thing I haven't mentioned in there is contingency. And so that room, that 164, gives us around 20% contingency that we can add on into the application, which is our plan as staff. And so we have the great makeup and the grant fabric right now of a grant application, but there will be some work, should we be successful in this grant, to kind of determine the level of effort on behalf of the village especially. And that's one of my recommendations, is to have staff come back and report to council. Make sure things that the in-kind contributions that we provide are within our work plans, so that we're not scrambling to find the capacity to do it next June when we want to. And so all these types of things are built into this as well. So my request of you is to ask me any questions, this information, to approve a submission for the grant application. We don't need a resolution, interestingly, on the requirements. But of course, support and a letter on behalf of council is always helpful. And then is to direct us as staff to come back to council when we know that we're going to have this event, and give you some details around what we have to do within our work plans and potentially budget to make sure that we can implement this project the way that we want to.
Okay, Councillor Brown?
Thank you. It looks like a really awesome day. It's a single day.
Yeah.
Yes, a really awesome day. And I really like the format of drawing in, all our community partners and nonprofits to run their little feature. I just wanted to clarify, because you talked a lot about volunteers, that we are paying, because there's a whole line item, we are paying the musicians and the artists for their performances, because that's part of why we want to do this, because the arts and culture community has suffered greatly in the last 2 years, and this will be a way to, support them. So just clarifying that, and I think that's all I have.
Yes, I can confirm that we do have, within this grant, $20,000 set aside, and that's just for the stage acts and the performers that will be acting on stage. Each individual group's budget, if they're using performers or other, the museum is using heritage experts for their tour walks. The Arts and Culture Society is bringing artists in residence, and local artists and stuff, and they're all being compensated, and that's all eligible funding within the grant, and it's all worked into the application.
Awesome.
Councillor Kettler?
Thanks. Yeah, it will be a great day, I hope. Fingers crossed. So I just wanted to ask about the contract services, the production manager, the event coordinator, the musical director, the visual arts director, and the publicity and marketing manager. Are we expecting all those to be separate, or are we expecting one person to apply for more than one of those positions? And is that part of, is that laid out in the contract as whether they could do that or not?
We have the flexibility to implement however we want. It was just
Okay.
very important to provide the detail in the scope to give the funder confidence instead of putting it all into one event producer, breaking out and having specific scope for the different tasks. And I can see us, all of the estimates of what that role would be and what they would cost come from people in our community that do these works. And so they're good estimates of what we have. We also know we have the talent in this community to do it. So you're right, Councillor, it could be one person doing 2 or 3 of these jobs, and we'll see what creates the best value and best opportunity for this event.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Councillor Sproul?
Well, it sounds like a great day, and yeah, let's just celebrate. Thank you for that report.
Councillor Sullivan?
Thanks. I was at the first meeting, and just to carry on about our community partners, I don't know if I've ever seen such a large meeting of such a varied amount of different people actually all boil down into, like, everybody put the post-it notes up, but I've never been at a process like that I've actually seen boil down so well. And so, I mean, it's taken quite a bit of time, but so quickly, even just in those first couple months. And I know the mayor worked very, very diligently on that. But yeah, it was really impressive to see how succinctly those separate groups came together and has boiled down into this. And very good work, and I'm very excited about this day. Thank you.
I would just add that it was a very interesting process. It was a long process and lots of input from the community groups, even though we only got a certain number that did commit. Was it 7 or 8? There was actually 22 at the table, 22 nonprofit groups at the table making these decisions. And even though they didn't put an application in, they're there to support the whole event, the whole day. Like the Cumberland Rotary Club, they didn't submit anything. The BMX didn't submit anything. But they are going to be doing things during the day for the event. The roller derbies have agreed to come and perform on the main street. The BMX people, they're going to put a little track up and perform. Even your hockey tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was very exciting to hear everybody, and some of the projects are absolutely amazing that people are working on. The school's doing a time capsule, and I think we've tried to include every age into the project, and every citizen. And we've got a group going up to the Cumberland Lodge to perform for them up there. So we're very inclusive in everybody. And yeah, it's going to be great to have 2 stages and have entertainment going on those days. Oh, by the way, council members, I did volunteer you.
So I couldn't hear you over the ATV.
To be the spokespersons, take turns announcing on the stages. So you'll be announcing the entertainments. So be prepared, it's going to be a long day.
Well, there's a group of us.
Yes, there is. Yes, and I would like to thank you, Kaylin, for putting it all together, because it is a massive combination of a lot of events.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the hard work was hurting all those groups and those interest groups. And I can say right now that I think this opportunity came at a perfect time with our arts and culture and our performers community. Like, this is the excitement they had in planning it is they really need something like this. It's an industry that's been hit hard by COVID, and this opportunity to get together, plan big events, and do what they love is good for our community. So I think the timing is good.
And what I found is all you have to do is ask, and they're there for you. So, Council, what is your pleasure?
Let's go get the money. That council approves the village submitted application for the Cumberland 125th Community Celebration under the Building Communities Through Arts and Heritage program, and that council directs staff to report back on the financial costs of administering and coordinating a successful grant application and include these costs in the 2023 budget discussions and work plans.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. Next, we have bylaws. That council received the 2022 property tax rates bylaw report.
Move receipt.
Second.
All in favor? Carried.
Okay, thank you. So I reported to you last council meeting a draft tax rate bylaw because I was waiting for the final regional district and regional hospital district requisitions. And so this report has the final bylaw for your consideration of first, second, and third reading. And basically, I did keep most of the information similar to that last report, and except for, of course, the your single-family unit and your strata unit changed slightly with those rates. At that point, I was estimating 5% for the school tax rates and 10% for the police tax rates. Now, those rates just came in this afternoon when I got back to the office, so I do have a few updated. It's a little bit different. The school tax for the single-family rates was actually 10% increase, and the police was 13% increase. So probably the police was going to be maybe, 9 or 10%, but of course, with us increasing at a higher rate than the rest of the valley or areas, made us go a little bit higher. But that does change that $284 increase for the single family to $324, and the strata units to $49.21. I also broke down your business other properties a little bit differently because I did hear from you that you wanted to know a little bit more detail on those numbers. So as you can see, the properties that had a decrease in their taxes, in this report, out of the 29, 17 of them were in the downtown area that had the decrease. Most of the businesses are the downtown area anyway, so it's, however, that did change to only 22 now have a decrease because of the police and school tax. So I'll just go through with the new numbers, to be honest with you now. Up to a $1,000 max increase, there was 24 properties, and 14 of those were in the downtown area. Up to a $5,000 increase, 19 of those had up to $5,000, and 17 of those 19 were in the downtown area. And then, of course, you had 2 properties that were not downtown properties that bumped up over the $5,000 increase. Okay. So other than that, there's four houses that are less total charges than our single representative houses, and 4 that are greater. So we're still in the middle, even though we changed slightly. I'm just requesting that council make a motion to reserve $43,750 to the police to save towards the policing, and also that you consider first, second, and third reading of the bylaw.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions for members of council?
No.
No.
I'll move the council direct staff to amend the 2022-2026 financial plan bylaw to add a reserve contribution of $43,750 from growth taxes to the emergency and public safety reserve to save towards policing. And that council give first, second, and third reading to 2022 property tax rates bylaw number 1167, 2022.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Michelle.
No new business, notice motions and announcements. Development cost charges public engagement session, Wednesday, April 26th, from 2 to 5 in council chambers. And the Heritage Committee, May 2nd, 5 p.m. in council chambers. Now we are open up to question period. So any member of the public may inquire about any items that were on the council agenda. So please send your questions to info@cumberland.ca using subject line question period. And we have no one left in the audience, so we don't need to ask any questions from the audience. Yes.
I feel like we need to reiterate that they should ask during the meeting, maybe at the beginning.
Lots of times we answer their questions during the meeting.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
Or we could get some sort of filler music. Jeopardy theme, definitely. That's what I'm hearing in my head right now.
It's,
Wow, were we all humming Jeopardy theme?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased that it's lighter at night now.
Yes, much
The
better.
evenings are getting lighter and lighter.
People might be out and about
Yeah.
tonight instead of watching council.
Okay. Well, if we get any late ones, we will definitely address them. Okay, closed portion.
I'll move the council close the meeting to the public pursuant to Section 90 of the Community Charter to consider personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality.
Second.
All in favor? Carried. Next, a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All in favor? Carried.